I went out to dinner with a friend. I won't mention him because I didn't ask him if I could, but this is a guy from New York in a position where he is in position to really observe politics in a deep way, And I always like to see guys from New York because they know Trump better. This guy has always been in a position to observe Trump and all this stuff. And I needed a reality check because the left is so hysterical and the right is hysterical too. And everybody is talking about, the effect and what's going to happen. Not about what's happening now, but these are all the people who are wrong about Trump getting elected are now sitting around talking about what's going to happen next. And I said, is it me or are these the best 2.5 weeks that conservatives have ever had in my lifetime? And I lived through Reagan. These have been two of the most incredible weeks. And I know we can't compare Trump to what would have happened with Hillary forever, but we have to say, as my friend said, if Hillary had gotten elected, it could well have been the end of the American experiment. And what Trump is doing is shaking things up so much. And look, I've been really honest about Trump, and some of you yell at me because you want me to only say the good things and all this stuff, but I can't do that. However, when you just look at the results, this team that he has assembled, I think Rex Tillerson is going to be a very, very pleasant surprise to people who doubted him. Betsy DeVos, That was an amazing thing. I mean, that the vice president, Mike Pence, had to go in and break the tie to get Betsy DeVos in it's a tiny department, the education department, because most money for schools comes from local property taxes and other local taxes. But the Democrats are so in bed with the teachers' unions, they had to show that they would not let this proponent of school choice get through, and she did get through. Mike Pence, another example. Come on, what a great pick. And another thing that my friend pointed out, and of course Gorsuch, we can't go out without that. Look, that was the court. If we had lost the court under Hillary, your gun rights probably would have been gone. Free speech rights, I wasn't so secure about. And we can see now as Trump goes forward, arguing about his refugee pause that went before the Ninth Circuit, they call it the Ninth Circus because it's the leftiest left-wing court in the country. It's the most overturned court in the country. But right now, there are only 8 people on the Supreme Court, 4 and 4. So we can see how important this ninth guy is to let the president do what is obviously legal for him to do. That's a great pick. This assault on the bureaucratic state, the regulations. We do not, as my friend said yesterday, because I was pointing out an idea I cadged from Brett Stevens, that because we're protected by the First Amendment, they can't regulate us the way they regulate everybody else. But if we were like regular small businesses, I would write a sentence and 3 lawyers from the government would show up and say, that sentence hasn't been checked for environmental damage that it's done, and you have to pay health care to one of the words in that sentence, and you have to, all this stuff that the government does that makes everyone's life a misery. And this Trump is this is one of the reasons why there's so many leaks coming out of the White House, is because this is the entire administrative state is going to mobilize to try and stop him. And of course, the press has gone insane. And